At first glance, you may not be able to tell that Tony is anything but a normal, active child full of life. However, 10-year-old Tony is autistic. His mother says that though he has had a tough childhood owing to the fact that he could hardly speak or write until he was 7 years, Tony has proved that a good diet can change things.
You'll notice an autistic kid when they're about 2 to 3 years. Yeah? So when there's another intervention, yeah, you'll be able to calm them and they'll not have been detoxinated so much.
Contrary to many beliefs, autism is not actually a disease, but a developmental disorder that appears during the early years of a child's life, affecting the normal development of social and communication skills.
Autism is a complex developmental disorder that appears in the first 3 years of life, and it affects areas of communication, socialization, and imagination.
The causes of this condition are not clearly known. However, a number of possible causes have been suspected. They include bad dieting, mercury poisoning, the body's inability to properly use vitamins and minerals, and sensitivity to some vaccines.
These persons are like affected by what they eat, what they breathe in their environment. So a parent that does not adhere to dietary intervention means that the child cannot be contained.
Research findings have recently argued autism to be a biological disorder as opposed to a mental one. Certain foods have been found to have the ability to catalyze autistic symptoms such as hyperactivity and aggressiveness.
The foods, once they've taken food that are offending, and these foods penetrates into the blood systems, they will affect what we call the neurotransmission process, which also will in turn bring issues of sensory integration problem.
Several foods have been associated with increased hyperactivity and aggressiveness in autistic children. The intake of gluten, a protein found in wheat, casein, a protein found in milk, and sugars have been noted to influence the hyperactivity of persons with autism.
You want to go home with bread, prepare tea and give your child. But here we are saying no, we want you to look for the appropriate unga and make the porridge.
Tony's actions are a far cry from disability. Tony can currently communicate quite effectively as well as forge social relationships more progressively than a normal autistic. His diet, as his mother explains, had and still has a lot to do with his great strides.
The traditional foods are pumpkins, things that are good for autistic kids. Arrowroots, you can use something like sweet potatoes. You can use like the black beans.
Not only should such foods be integrated at home, but also in schools. City Primary, a government school with a special wing for autistic children, provides such diets. Parents play a vital role in maintaining an autistic diet, and more often than not, other members of the family need to adjust to the dietary changes. Hope is, however, not lost, and though autism remains to be an uphill task when it comes to management, diet and occupational therapy provide the simplest, most available points to start. For KTN Prime, I'm Betty Kialo.